We're joined by reporter Tumisho Maganyele and Wayne McCurrie is still with us to take a look at the latest on this mining sector unrest. Tumisho, you've been back and forth to Marikana, to the platinum mining district over the past 4 weeks. You've also been speaking to some of the leaders of the various kind of workers and mining groups. Tell us about the Democratic Socialist Movement and the role that they're playing in this this catastrophe it seems it's ending up to be in South Africa.
Well, I've been speaking with a gentleman by the name of McCurrie, who's one of the committee members in the Democratic Socialist Movement. And basically, they are representing all the workers that are not unionized, so anybody that's not belonging to NUM or AMCU. And what they're doing is they are rallying all these workers that are currently not happy with the wages and the living conditions. They were asking for 12,000 Rand and now they have asked for 16,000 Rand. And what they're saying is that if their wage demands are not being met.
And this person you're speaking to is a rock drill operator.
He is a rock drill operator at Implats Mines. So what he's saying is that from Monday, they're going to make sure that there's basically all the mines in the Rustenburg area will become incapacitated. So they will ensure that no worker goes to work and that until their wage demands are met. They're saying 16,000 Rand they think is reasonable, but if if it's not met, they are willing to settle at 12.5.
Yeah. Wayne, your thoughts on this? I mean, you don't know where it's going to end. I mean, you
first
wonder.
First of all, what's happened today shows you all of this is very important for us, and it's there's actually quite big issues involved here. But if the Ben Bernanke puts more money into the system, shares go up. So I mean, overseas, what happens overseas is still more important for our stock market than what happens domestically. So as far as the stock market is concerned, we must not necessarily overplay this and think that a tragedy is about to unfold. But when you look at the wage demands being met, obviously the platinum price has now jumped, what, $150, $100, whatever, because of all of the unrest.
Yeah.
But at the old platinum price, the mines simply can't pay it. They will just go bankrupt and they will just close down. So, we must be very careful what you ask for because there are consequences.
And they stuck it between a rock and a hard place
but what's essentially happening is that the mine workers are not part of the demonstrating mine workers are not part of the unions anymore, because even unions don't ask for a 200% or 300% increase in salary.
Yeah.
So they think, well, so we're seeing, I suppose we're seeing civil unrest not dissimilar to what we saw, obviously completely different scale, but still civil unrest when it came to the toll in Gauteng. Yeah, people just said, well, we're not having this, and now we're seeing Labour rebelling against their own unions.
You wonder how much control
look, I wouldn't worry too much about
situation.
this. I mean, we've had lots of unrest in South Africa before, and by and large it's all blown over and we've returned to normality. So I would not worry too much about this, but it is quite interesting that the majority of the action actually seems to be against the unions, not against mines.
Do you get a sense that it's their anti-union behavior and the comments that you have from the leader of the Democratic Socialist Movement, there is this anti-union sentiment?
No, I don't get the feeling or the sense that they are against other unions. I get the sense they're against the government and how things have been run. I mean, for example, Maganyele, who is the leader of the Democratic Socialist Movement, has been saying they are pushing for mines to be unionized and nationalized rather, and they're just not happy with how things have been progressing. So it's not really just the other unions, it's really about how things are being run. The leadership of President Jacob Zuma has also come under the spotlight. So
very quickly, you've been there back and forth. How do you feel when you're there? Do you feel unsafe?
I mean, I must tell you, the feeling is it's like none other. I mean, they are very, very heavily armed, as I mentioned, charging through the streets, and they're coming in crowds, and they are chanting.
Thousands of people.
I mean,
can you estimate?
Hundreds. I mean, hundreds. Was in one place when we thought, okay, this must be it. But we went to the stadium. I mean, there were clearly thousands of mine workers. So I really don't think that this is something that will be blowing over anytime soon.
We'll speak to you back again on Monday. Thank you so much for joining us, Tumisho Maganyele, our reporter. We've still got Wayne McCurrie with us. Just a quick view, Wayne, on the markets today. Yeah. We talked about the resources shares rallying. We've seen, you said, foreign investors selling off retailers.
And these are all retailers. So the retailers own the foreigners own the retailers. Maybe some domestic people are also buying the resource shares, but this is now, this started at good couple, it started at the beginning of September, Today it's been, I think it's actually quite decisive. I think the cycle has eventually turned. We've spoken about this so many times over the last few months as to how expensive the retailers are and how cheap the resources are. But certainly I've also said, you know, who knows when it's going to turn? It might turn in 6 months' time or a year's time. So it just once again proves in markets, you never know when something's going to happen. And
but
normally
you know
when it does
stocks
happen,
are cheap or
it's
expensive,
quick,
and you need
it goes
to take a
quickly.
position.
It doesn't give you time. You know, no one rings a bell in investments.
Thank you very much for joining us today. Wayne McCurrie from Momentum Investments.